Welcome! Whereas we looked at where Ubuntu comes from in the previous lesson, in this lesson, lesson number 4, we learn about the universal, also called the natural or cosmic laws of Ubuntu, that is a system of laws based on close observation of natural order and human nature, from which values that are thought to be intrinsic to human nature can be deduced and applied to make Ubuntu work. In our research on Ubuntu, we came across this basic summary by Ubuntu author Dr. Matole Mochekga, in which he associates Ubuntu with the scales of justice, 7 cardinal virtues that we cover in the next lesson on values and principles, and 7 universal or cosmic laws that are the inspiration for this lesson. The idea that there are laws that govern life naturally leads to the question of self-knowledge. There is an age-old saying in Africa stating that man's ability to know him or herself differentiates between human life that is functional and human life that is dysfunctional. The ancient people of Egypt, as well as the Mayan, for example, knew that the ultimate teaching for human growth and transformation was for human beings to know themselves, which is why they invested a lot of energy into the development of consciousness for the benefit of their societies. Even though we are not always aware of it, we all somehow want to know ourselves and our place in the world. This happens through introspection, our relationship with others, spending time in nature, and observing the world around us. When it comes to Ubuntu, knowing thyself is of utmost importance. In general, the view of the ancient societies of the world was intimately linked to their understanding of the properties of the world and the universe in which they lived. When it comes to Africa, the ancient Egyptians believed in an underlying order and balance in the universe, based upon their observation of the rising and the setting of the sun, the flooding of the Nile, and the predictable course of the stars and the planets in the sky. This balanced quality of the universe that is associated with Ubuntu was seen to be the law. Because the people of ancient Egypt were also acutely aware of the ever-present forces of chaos as a threat to this balance, they saw it as their duty to prevent chaos from reigning supreme and to maintain and preserve order and stability. Life was directed at maintaining this cosmic harmony. Albeit that we are not always conscious of this, as human beings, we are constantly in a process of weighing of thoughts and options that would bring about the best results and peace in our lives. The process of the search for the truth and the maintenance of order and balance is always alive and ongoing. And this is what these universal laws of Ubuntu that you can study in detail are all about. There is the law of oneness, the law of correspondence, the law of vibration, the law of opposites, the law of cause and effect, the law of rhythm, and the law of gender. In science, a natural law refers to the physical laws of nature. These laws describe the behavior of the physical world and are based on empirical evidence and observation. From a philosophical standpoint, natural law is based on the idea that rights, values, and responsibilities are inherent in human nature. Natural law theory is based on the idea that these laws are discoverable through the exercise of reason. As we come to the closing of this lesson, let us look at some African proverbs that reflect the appreciation of the African people for the universal laws or natural laws of life. He who throws a stone in the market will hit his relative. Getting something is not necessarily because of cleverness, and missing something is not necessarily because of ignorance. I found no place on which to stand. I made a foundation in my heart by means of my own will. Without making these laws hard and fast, it is so that the people from ancient times spent a lot of time observing and studying the natural world, and that they applied the principles that they observed and identified to their daily lives and as a means to reach their higher potential. It is also so that these laws are studied and applied by thousands of people all over the world today. As we have said, understanding and working with these laws works through reasoning, and reasoning helps us to know ourselves, to come to our deepest truths, and to realize the balance, order, harmony, and justice that we are seeking in life. We hope that you enjoyed this short lesson on the universal laws of Ubuntu.